Okay, so let's say you have 1, 4, then 7, then 10, right? Okay, and this is your term 1, term 2. Term 0 is going to be 1 minus 3, isn't it? Term 0 is going to be 1 minus 3, which is 2. So in this case here, the sequence is going to be 3n minus 2. This is your arithmetic sequence, remember?
Oh, okay. Oh, so it's the first value.
The 0 value, the 1 minus your difference value. Later, I'll talk about that again. I'll show you guys the formulas again. Okay, but anyway, for today's lesson, geometric, is actually, you see here, what's happening is it's no longer plus or minus, it's multiplied. So if there is a multiplication for your sequence, that means this is geometric. And the general formula for geometric sequence is what? Is actually A, R, n minus 1. This is your general formula, just like others. The n term is A, R, n minus 1. Now, the A in this case is actually your differences. Okay, yeah, the A is your term number 1, which in this case is actually equals to 2. Okay, your R is actually term number 2 divided by term number 1, which is basically your multiplication. 6 divided by 2 is actually 3, right? Okay, and for your nth term, when you write it away, guys, when you write your nth term, it's supposed to be 2 multiplied by 3n minus 1. A lot of students will make a mistake of writing it as 6n minus 1. This is wrong, guys. This way is wrong. It's because why? This is 2 multiplied by 3 to the power of n minus 1. You cannot group the 2 and 3 together. Okay, you cannot group the 2 and 3 together. So your final answer, right, is just from what we had here only. 2 bracket 3n minus 1. This will be your nth term. Okay, anyone unclear about this part? Need to clarify? Basically, geometric sequence, right, is as straightforward as it can get already when looking for the nth term. Okay, geometric sequence is as straightforward as it can get. All right, now you guys should write this down in the paper that I had for you last week, for those of you attending here. And for those of you who are not attending physical class, you can write this formula somewhere down. We are going to be attempting questions from all 3 sequences today. Because let's just say, okay, now Shen asked the question, why can't we combine the 2, 3, n minus 1 together? Let's just say n has a value, right? Let's just say, for example, n equals to 3. When this n value here equals to 3, okay? Then what will happen is you're going to have 2, 3, 3 minus 1, which would result in 3 to the power of 2, isn't it? Okay, if you have 3 to the power of 2, let's just say we do it the correct way. This is going to be 9 times 2, which is 15. Okay, if we did it the wrong way, which was 6 to the power of 2, this actually equals to 36, where you times this together. You see? Yeah. Okay, so that's why you cannot combine them together. It is a different, separate number. Understand? Okay, so this is wrong way. Okay, everyone all right with this part? Then what we're going to do is we're going to look at the worksheet that I sent to you guys last night. Okay, starting with your simple arithmetic sequence formula. So I'm going to go through some of it with you, and then I want you guys to try the rest of it yourself. Now, in this question, first they ask you to write down the next term. First and foremost, after identifying the sequence, what is going to be is, this is actually minus 4, minus 4, minus 4. The next term will be no different. It's going to be minus 4. So the next term is actually -5. This one is rather simple and straightforward, not -5. And as you can see from the marking scheme, you only have 1 mark for this kind of questions. So it's supposed to be easy. If they ask you for the term-to-term rule, term-to-term rule is a bit different from asking you the nth term away. The term-to-term rule is just basically asking you this, okay? So it's actually what you just can write down -4. Okay, and if they ask you for the nth term, now you know the nth term is what we just showed just now, looking at the reference. Okay, its nth term is supposed to be for an arithmetic sequence is an plus b. Okay, where you have a is the difference and b is the term 0. In this case here, the difference is -4, and term 0, what's term 0 going to be? Term 0 is going to be this number here in front, -4, right? -4 becomes 11. So term 0 is 15. Therefore, your nth term is -4n plus 15. Right? Quite straightforward, lah. This first part here. Anybody not able to understand? If you don't understand, better voice out now so I can explain to you guys better.
Okay, teacher, you said before about the TO. So what does that mean? So I know the difference is 4n, -4n is because that's how much you minus it. Then what about the 15?
Term 0, so let's say this is term number 1, this is term number 2, right? Okay. The term before term number 1 is term 0.
So plus
something
14.
-4 is 11. Something -4 is 11.
So you take 11 plus 4.
Yeah, so 11 is 11 plus 4.
All right.
That's why I get 15.
All right, okay, got it.
Anybody else? Don't understand this part? No questions? Now, then today I'm going to introduce you guys to something slightly different. From your arithmetic sequence, you have sequences that are fractions. Now, if you see a fraction like this, right? Basically, it is not as straightforward as your basic arithmetic sequence. What you need to do is you need to have an nth term on top over an nth term at the bottom. If you look at this question here, your top nth term is 2n, and then your bottom nth term is n plus 1. Okay, now this question they're asking you, find the difference between the 5th term and the 6th term of this sequence. Similarly, like what we're used to doing, first we're going to substitute 5 into this formula, and then we're going to substitute 6 into this formula to find the difference, isn't it? So if you're looking for term number 5, then this is 2, 5, 5 plus 1. Then you get a value of 10/6. If you're looking for term number 6, then this is 2, 6, 6 plus 1, which you would end up getting 12/7. Okay? Finding the difference between them is just 12/7 minus 10/6. You can either type it into the calculator. Yeah, I think I'll type it in the calculator also because I'm lazy to calculate. Oh shit, that's a calculator. When you type it in the calculator, you get the answer of 1/21. This is the difference here. 1/21. Okay? So this one also should still be no problem. Now, wait. A question for the class. Is 3/4 a term in this sequence? How do we determine it? How do we answer this question? Is 3/4 a term in this sequence here? How do we determine if any number is a term in the sequence, guys? Anybody? To find out if this number belongs in the sequence or not, what we have to do is we must let the nth term equals to this number here, okay? And if we find that the nth term is equal on both sides, on the top and bottom, then we can decide, we can determine if this sequence, this number here belongs in the sequence or not. Okay, so basically this is an algebra question already. In this case, you're trying to solve for 2n over n plus 1 equals to 3/4. How do we solve algebraic questions like this? 3 divided by 2. No.
For this?
Huh? Sorry?
So cross divide, do we?
Yes, we cross divide, cross multiply. Okay. So you see, this is a fraction, this over this over this, right? Then what you're, oh my god, my internet is unstable. Give me a minute, I'm sharing screen, right? Okay, so now what we're going to do is, this is a fraction, this is a fraction, this is a fraction, this is a fraction, right? What we can do is we can cross multiply it. So you have 4 multiplied by 2n equals to 3 multiplied by n plus 1. Open up the bracket, you would have gotten 8n equals to 3n plus 3. And then solving the equation, you would have 5n equals to 3n equals to 3/5. If n equals to 3/5, right, then we kind of know that this is not really in the sequence, because why? We're only looking for term 1, term 2, term 3, term 4. We don't have term 3/5. In fact, if we put 3/5 into this formula, does this give us 3/4? Yeah, it does actually. Yeah, we are never looking for a fractional term, isn't it? It's either term 1, term 2, term 3, and we will not look for term 1.5 like that, right? So the answer to this is no, it is not a term. No, not a term. Okay? Yeah. And this next part here, I have in the first line, sequence A, arithmetic sequence, sequence B.
Sorry, can you explain again why it's not part of the term of the sequence, the previous sequence?
Because usually we're only looking for term 1, term 2, term 3, term 4. We won't look for term 1.5, right? Okay. So in this case here, the term is term 0.6.
Okay. So it's before the Okay, all right.
But anyway, I want you guys to try this second question on your own. First, they're asking you to complete the table, right? So find the 5th term and then find the nth term. Question number 2. Okay. Question number 2. So this is actually an arithmetic, this is a quadratic, and this is a geometric. Try and see if you guys can do this properly or not on your own. Wait a minute. I think the second one is not quadratic. Okay, guys. Skip question part B for now. Skip part B for now. This is actually a cubic equation. So I think that I will explain to you guys later on, not even like skip this one. This is a cubic. As you didn't, you know how to do this. Would you know how to do part B? Oh. Because of this shit. Again? Oh, wait. Yeah. But I mean, unless you can fully understand how the quadratic formula works, if not, it's a bit hard to explain this Nth term. I think we want to explain this one. If you guys are done with this first part here, you can do the next part yourself. Anybody has any questions, don't understand the answer, can let me know.
Teacher, can you re-explain how you found the number for the second part without doing the table? Because in order to find the nth term for sequence B, right? You have to find 127. How do you find 127?
Oh, well, basically, right, for your cubic sequence, you can either use the formula of okay, no, don't use the formula. I think that's going to confuse you guys. You need to be able to recognize your cubic numbers. The easiest way to do it is to be able to recognize the cubic numbers. Okay, so your cubic numbers are 1 cube 1, 2 cube 8, 3 cube 27, 4 cube 64, 5 cube 125. Oh, it is right. Okay. Then what happens is, you see these numbers, 3, 10, 29, 66. All of them are plus 2 is this number, you know, plus 2, plus 2, plus 2, plus 2, plus 2. That's why your answer, right, in this case, it's supposed to be n cubed plus 2. But don't worry about this kind of questions. Like, if it comes up, then unfortunate, give them the marks. Most likely not coming out now. Most likely, but hey, don't quote me on this. I've said it before. Wrong. So this first part should be no problem, right? Then looking at your
the geometric sequence, can you use it here?
Yeah, this is a geometric sequence, right?
Oh, the bottom one.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. If you guys look at question number 3, for A, it's again another cubic sequence. But this one is very straightforward, isn't it? This is 1 cube, 2 cube, 3 cube, 4 cube, then this would naturally be 5 cube. And this n term will just be n cube like that. Okay, but if this all this cubic sequence you guys don't understand, it's okay lah. You know. Oh, okay. Sorry. This question I want to explain on. Yeah, this question is a bit hard one. So, this what is it? 6, 6, 6, 6. So this is 29. Then you have 6n minus 1. Okay. And over here you have this is okay. As soon as you guys have attempted this question number 3, and then know how to do already, can you let me know? You can do it. Can I do it? Now, guys, okay, everyone look at this question together. In this first part here, you have a cubic sequence of 1, 8, 27, 64. Then the fifth term is naturally going to be 5 cubed, which is 125, and therefore the n term is just n to the power of 3. Okay. Part B, this is an arithmetic sequence, so it should be pretty straightforward. Plus 6, plus 6, plus 6, plus 6, and therefore your nth term is going to be 6n minus 1. In line C, you have a geometric sequence where it is a multiple of 2, right? 1 over 4, 1 over 2, 1, 2, 4 times 2 times 2 times 2. Okay? Then you have this nth term sequence here, 1 over 4, 2n minus 1. Now, in part D, right? Part D is actually the killer because this sequence, right? First of all, is a decimal, then a decimal, then a non-decimal, non-decimal, then something like this. Okay? Now, in these kind of questions, right, this is actually considered one of the harder type of questions already. They are actually supposed to be linked, supposed to be seen as one big question together, okay? Now, how were you supposed to see it there? Is that you see in this number here, 5, this number here, 25. If this number minus this number, you're going to get 4.75. This number minus this number, you're going to get 10.5. 17 minus 1, you're going to get 16. 23 minus 2, you're going to get 21. So naturally, the fifth term is going to be 29 minus 4. So it's going to be 25, isn't it? Then comes the nth term. If all of our sequences, right, were this minus this, this minus this, this minus this, how are we supposed to get this nth term for this part D over here? What do you guys think? What do you think the formula is going to be for the nth term? It's not something that you will learn in your basic exercises on these kind of questions. It's from your practices on this. Only can you understand it or not. So what do you think this nth term here would be? This minus this minus this one. This will be the nth term for this sequence. This for sure, you're not going to be able to learn it in any textbook or this kind of answer. You must practice, only can you get these kind of answers. Okay, so that's why don't discount your previous questions, especially if they are grouped up in one big question like this. Okay, in this particular case, it is actually related. Okay. Anybody don't get this part? Need an explanation again for the last group part D. Anybody? No questions. Okay, continue trying the rest. The n term is basically 6n minus 1 minus this value here. Because that's how we're getting all our numbers, right? 5 minus this, 4.75. 11 minus this, 10.5. 17 minus this, 16 to the. So the n term would naturally also be this minus this to get this. Look, the 9-mark questions, so you know it's going to be hard.因为你那个我拼出那时候是我的笔在中上了，我去拼出的拼到了。你换呢？我跟你换在那个地上。
Should I go toilet first?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Thank you.
Again, for the fourth question, part B is a cubic number. And if you guys look at part C, since it is a fraction, like I mentioned at the beginning, it's going to be an arithmetic sequence over an arithmetic sequence. So just treat it like two arithmetic sequences. Hey, 你们有看那个 Ukraine Russia war.
我们昨天早上讲这个，去也讲。
So as a
英语老师说，让给我们的 independent word 就是让我们去关注这件事情。
Minor Chinese, what's your stance? 身为一个中国人，
但是我觉得最可怜的是那些乌克兰Ukraine 这盘 Ukraine 的 city
的错。
我不知道，但是我希望他们不要打。
但是我是其实是 support Putin 的，我也是 support Putin 的。
Russia
Of course, communism 呢？
中国可以但是从我的角度来说，我会希望两个都不要打。你不要打吗？
不会打的，应该啊。If you guys Yeah, if you guys look at the repercussions of the invasion, right? 他们只是把那个 countries put into sanction, put Russia into sanction, but they did not sanction the major export, which is petroleum oil, I guess. Okay, why? Because everyone needs Russia. So they're just scared. They're scared also lah. 所以中国就拿回台湾了。They're saying that right now, China is watching how the world reacts to Russia. And if it all goes well, China will do the same, like how Russia do to Ukraine, China will do to Taiwan.
I see.
So China is the ultimate win in this war.
I 看到一个预言说，好像是，我也忘了那个人，好像是说 Ukraine 好像会加入。
NATO。
对。I don't know， 我可能忘了那个预言怎么样。
其实这不是全部是笨的。The argument is if China allied with Canada and placed their army in Canada, US would react the same way.
可是 China 怎么会当 Canada？
就是讲如果啦 because right now Ukraine is joining NATO 嘛，就是其实是 American 和 UK 的那个。
NATO
是什么呢？NATO 那个什么 Alliance Territorial Army。
对，你们那个之前的那个我。
对，是 for NATO 的 origin was to counter Russia during the Cold War， 就是反抗 Russia 叫什么？外语？俄罗斯，对。
但是 Russia 是什么？是叫
Soviet Union， 对。
可是Ukraine 也打不过 Russia。
Ukraine 打不过，不可能的。Okay, part C is not an arithmetic over an arithmetic. Part C is an arithmetic over a geometric. Again, if you're looking at this number, the cubic numbers are 1, 8, 27, and 64. So all this is -1, -1, -1, -1. The next one is 125 -1. So you get n cubed -1. And lastly, this should be what? This one should be n plus over 8 to n minus 1. Anyone didn't get this part here? The B, boy. So if you notice again, these are cubic numbers. Cubic number 1 cube 1, 2 cube 8, 3 cube 27, 4 cube 64, 5 cube 125. Okay, then the numbers here is 1 minus 1, 8 minus 1, 27 minus 1, 6 minus 1. That's why it is n cube minus 1. Okay. It is done. Which part?
For the CII.
Okay. Anybody couldn't get this part here or not?
我在网上，然后网上那些人说让台湾看看，他美国就是该抛弃就抛弃的那种。
对，有一个 meme 很好笑哎，就是说全部人讲他们 support，even the Ukraine president 他们出来讲啊 ，we haven't seen any of our allies， 他们会这样讲。
Yeah, they say like Moscow don't help them.
是啦 ，we haven't seen any of our allies. It's up to Ukrainians to defend Ukrainians。他这样讲吗？我就 yeah，USA。Okay, looking at this next part here. One term in the sequence is. Oh, okay. Now, you guys see, right? One term is P over Q. Write down the next term in the sequence in C for in terms of PQ. So what's going to be, if let's say like, okay, somewhere down the line here, then you have PQ. What's going to be the number after that? No, nobody. It's just a algebraic question only. The next term is going to be P plus 6. Because whatever it is P plus n plus 6. Okay, and then at the bottom, what's it going to be? At the bottom is going to be 2q, because after that the q has to times 2. You see here? Here is all plus 1, plus 1. Sorry, not plus 6, it's plus 1. Plus 1, plus 1, plus 1. So it's, the next term of it is p plus 1.
So the n term is n plus 1.
Yeah, n plus 6. Yeah, n term is n plus 6. But if, okay, let's just put it this way. Let's just say, right, p is equals to like something, and then q is equals to like 50 or something like that, whatever it is. The next term, according to this sequence, okay, the next term after that is going to be what? It's going to be 21 here, right? Because look, it's plus 1, plus 1, plus 1. Okay, and at the bottom, it's going to be times 2, times 2, times 2. So no difference. After 20 over 50, the next term is 21 over 100. You understand? Okay, that's why if the term, whatever term this term, whatever, let's say term 1000 or whatever, we don't know the number, we don't know, okay? but it was P over Q, then the term after that, term 1001, okay, is going to be P plus 1, and then Q times 2. Make sense? Okay. So this is just going to be, the answer will be P plus 1 over 2Q. Anybody didn't get this part? Okay, last question of the day. Let's try to finish this before we end the class. 不好意思，你要拼多一场给你。
Select goal. So slide templates.
Next week, this one, end up this next week. Let me just send this link to the next class. Okay. Last question in this part. Six, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 17, 13, 16. 2 minus 8, 2 minus 8, 4 divided by 2, 4 divided by 2, 92. Okay, is this half n square half plus half n? Correct. You didn't get this? Oh. You cannot do it? You cannot do this one? Why not? It's just a quadratic this one. It's just 1, 2, 3. It's 1, 2, 3, then 1, 1.你写什么？你写错什么？我有算对吗？我算的，我算对没有 ？Can you take the calculator check my answer for C? Is it correct? Okay, everyone, look at this last question. In these sort of long questions, right, usually you would have one extra question like this, where it says T is the total number of dots used to make all the first n diagrams, where they even given you this formula, T equals to an cubed plus bn squared. Cannot find it anywhere. And then you're asked to find the values of A and B. This right, cannot find it on the what is it called, the table. You can't find this value from the table. Okay, this is from your understanding of the nth term equations. So if T is equals to this, right, and you're asked to solve for A and B, it's the same way like how we solved for our quadratic formulas and how we got the formulas in the first place. Okay, what you're going to do is you are going to substitute numbers into your n. So therefore, if let's say T is equals to T1 is equals to A1 cubed plus B1 square. Okay, and this T is actually something that you accumulate up in total. Total number of dots here is 1. So this value here is supposed to equal to 1. The second one is A2 cubed plus B2 square is equals to how much? It's equals to 5. From here, after getting two equations, you would therefore solve it like a simultaneous equation. So writing it down is going to be a plus b equals to 1, 8a plus 4b equals to 5. Solve the simultaneous equation. And I'm going to say like 8a, 8b equals to 1, 8a plus 4b equals to 5, minus each other. 8a minus 8a is 0, 8b minus 4b, bracket with minus like this, 4b, okay? Then equals to -4. Therefore, b equals to -1. When b equals to -1, a would actually equals to 0. Then a is 0, b is -1. Okay, correct. Oh, sorry, b is a plus -1 equals to 1. A would equals to 2. Okay, I think I got to go for the next class already. I'll stop class for now, and then maybe if you guys don't